Hi friends, welcome to Tall Hobbit Stitches. I'm Joelle and this is my video diary where I talk about all of the crafty things that I get up to. Today is going to be a fairly short update. I have a couple of knitting updates and some spinning ideas and some sewing preparation to talk about. Come along with me. Okay, so the first thing that you can see right here is my little mole friend, Merri Molly. She is completely dressed. I still need to make her satchel. I haven't made that yet. Um, but she is pretty much done. And I love her. I didn't, like I said in my previous video, I did not make her sweater. I didn't do the color work pattern mostly because as I was trying to do it, I think I was messing it up. And I think that's the reason why I wasn't liking the way it was coming out, because I was doing it wrong. But I love the skirt and I was successful at following the pattern for the skirt. It's a little sort of jumper skirt. She's got little suspenders and they crisscross in the back. And I'm supposed to get a couple of wee buttons to put here for the suspenders in the front, but I haven't dug through my button box yet. I'm pointing because it's right behind me, actually. I also think she needs a pair of little linen bloomers or something, because she's fully clothed, right? But then when you set her, she's got her bare bottom that sits right on her shelf. So I know I'm projecting, okay, but if I were her and I was fully kitted out in this lovely knitwear and my bare bottom was sitting on things, I think I would feel a little uncomfortable. So she's gonna get some bloomers. Yeah, I have some linen already prepped for sewing that I'll talk about later, and I think I'm adding in another sewing project for her so that she's totally finished. I love her so much, and it's been so much fun knitting her. And the way that Cynthia Valet does her patterns is it's done in a very specific way. So you start with the nose and then you make the head, and then you give her the face. You give your little animal friend the face features. So you embroider on the nose and her little mouth under her snoot. And the eyes are knitted in. I've mentioned that before, but you can also embroider them on, or I think there's an option for safety eyes or glass beads or something, I forget. But the whole point is that as you work on her, she gets her little face already, and so you've got this little personality that you're spending time with. And then when you're done, after you stuff her, she's like completely done. You have one tiny seam, and as you go along, all of your ends get woven in at appropriate points along the way, so there's really hardly any finishing work at the end. And then you dress your little friend, and I love that process so much. Now when I started knitting on her, now I bought this pattern, I don't know how long ago. um I'm trying to remember her real name. I can't remember. Maria, I think, but her screen name was Ninja Chickens years ago. When one of her kids went off to college, she knit this little doll and the accessories to send with her newly fledged child out into the world. And so I think that child has already since graduated and is starting their adult life proper. And then I finally got to knit my mole this year. I take a long time to actually get around to things, but I didn't realize that the person who designed this, Cynthia Valet, also did this book, Mouche and Friends, that I bought in 2023 when it was published. And I I love her little critter so much, and I didn't even know I was buying from the same designer. But I want to show you some of the pages in this book. Let me find them. I should have bookmarked them. That would have been a very smart thing to do ahead of time. Okay, this is the little guy that I'm gonna knit next whenever I get around to knitting little creatures again. Horatio. Isn't he so cute? I think he's a donkey. But he comes with a little backpack and these little dungarees. Oh my gosh, my voice just gets so high when I think about making these little friends. And then there's Giorgio, this cat friend. And there's, oh yeah, there's also a little sheep and a duck. The duck looks amazing. Look at that little dress. So let me show you the sheep. I'm just going to show you all the patterns, or not all the patterns. All right, let me find the sheep. You know, I should have bookmarked this. Okay, here's a little sheep friend, Aggie. Isn't she so cute? She's got a little, there's like a little loopy stitch that you do to make her little vest. Oh, I can't take it. So cute. So, I've said recently that I've been on a little animal friend making kick, and I'm just going to keep going with that. I do have a few other things that I need to intersperse. I do need some practical garments. But I'm having such fun making these friends. Do you know Hunter Hammerson, or at least have you heard of her? Her business name is Tiny Nonsense because she knits tiny nonsense. We are kindred spirits, and I love knitting tiny nonsense and little friends. So that is the main knitting update. Let me just look at her. Look at the texture on this skirt. It was such a lovely ribbing pattern to do. There's one that I've never done before. Yeah. So just, I'm not big on funnel neck sweaters, but I think she looks darling. And the sleeve armpit thing is like way too low. She's kind of wearing a swancho. And I think I said in my last video that I might, or maybe it was online somewhere else. Anyway, I said recently somewhere to someone that I want to knit her a different sweater that looks a little bit more like something I would wear. I don't know why I want to do that. She's not the same as me, but I think it would be fun to knit little sweaters. I could probably find something in the book for another friend that she might like too. We shall see. Okay, so that's my main knitting update. I have been working on the burgundy sweater. It's just, I didn't bother bringing it out because what's interesting about me showing you that I've knit 2 more inches on a sweater, on the body of a sweater, it's plain stockinette. It won't start to get interesting until I join it up and start doing the raglan decreases, so I'm not going to bother showing you until then. Anyway, just know that I am working on it. It's difficult to work on it though, because every time I pick it up, that is when Ruby, the cat, really wants to be in my lap. And she loves yarn. Not if it's sitting, being innocent and still. She loves yarn when it's moving. So when I'm knitting and I go to pull extra yarn out of the ball, she goes and attacks it. So it's very difficult for me to actually get any knitting done when Ruby thinks it's lap time instead. So it is slow going. Okay. Now, I have not been spinning lately, partly because I haven't felt compelled to, but also because the spring and line and brake situation on my wheel, I use a Kiwi. I messed it up a long time ago, and I've been limping it along, and my efforts are now at an end. So I purchased a new one today, and it will be delivered to me because no one near me actually sells them. So anyway, this is what I've been spinning earlier in the year. If you've watched any of my previous videos, this is Shetland, and this is hold on, let me think. I called it up on my phone so I can get my notes out. Oh no, I can't. I'm filming this on my phone. Okay, let me think. I know it's a Shetland and silk blend, but it's mainly Southdown. It's a Southdown, Shetland, and silk blend from Port Fibers in Maine, and the colorway is this beautiful, like purpley, pinky. I don't know what other adjective I wanted to use, but it's like a purple pink colorway, and the name of it is "How Do You Know She's a Witch," which is a Monty Python line from the Holy Grail, which I love. So my plan is to make, ages ago, I did a 3-ply of the Shetland. It's nice and squashy, and because I'm not a very consistent spinner, and all of the yarn that I make is basically this yarn, People call it their default yarn. I have no other yarn. I don't know how to make thin yarn for socks. When I yeah, even if I just do 2-ply, like that wouldn't be very strong for socks anyway. But yeah, I am not a very thin spinner. So this is more of an inconsistent worsted and Aran weight yarn. And it's, to use spinning terms, I believe the way I spin is a semi woolen or semi worsted. I think it's semi worsted. I can't remember. But so the preparation of the fiber, when it's all combed out into long roving, that is more of a worsted preparation, meaning all the fibers are all lined up, all in one direction. Whereas a woolen preparation, I think, do not quote me on this. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. I love to be corrected when I'm actually factually incorrect. The fibers are a little bit more all different ways to get like different directions, and then as you spin them you get more air in between, and it's a loftier, floofier yarn, and it traps more air against you, and it's actually a warmer knit when the final product is warmer than worsted. But I spin in a sort of partially like long draw sort of way, which gets a lot of air in there. So it's like worsted preparation, but I do a little bit of woolen spinning. Anyway, from my understanding of actual really skilled spinners and sort of gleaning information from them, that is my understanding of what I do. But I don't really spin with any sort of intention other than just making yarn. Yeah, I'm not worried about grist or any of those other technical things. I just want to make a yarn that I want to knit with. So remember how I said this was going to be a short update? I'm just rambling. So this is my yarn. I'm going to make another one of these vests. This is the cutting edge vest from Albiona McLaughlin. And I'm going to have to mess around with the gauge because I don't know if I'm going to, like, if I have to knit a smaller size in order to get this to be my size. I don't know. I just know that I want to use this yarn and this pattern, and I need to find a way to make it work. So that's where we are with spinning. I have a bunch of this, this Shetland. I have a bunch of Shetland, this gray, to just, plain to spin up. And I'm going to apply it a 3-ply like I've been doing. And I'm going to make this purple, and I want to do something that has like a low contrast color work, because these are not particularly high contrast, but I really want these two together in a kind of a yoke situation. These are all vague ideas. And it might take months or years to actually come to fruition, but I'm sharing them now because I want to be more motivated to spin. And so if I got out my yarn and I actually looked at it, I'm very much one of those out of sight, out of mind kind of people. So if I see the yarn, I'm going to remember that I want to use it. And so then I will make more yarn because I've been slacking. Okay. So the only update I have for my bag that I'm making, that I've talked about previously, is I have successfully washed and dried the fabric. The yellow fabric is actually in the washing machine right now. I washed it early this morning and forgot about it, and so now I have to remember to put it in the dryer when I go back inside. Okay. Anyway, so this is ready, and now I can start. This is my little basket of notions for the project. Then everything will be gathered, and then it'll just be waiting on me to start, and not actually small steps like washing the fabric. That's all done. That's done. I also washed and dried that cranberry colored fabric. It says the colorway is called beet red, but I think it looks more like cranberries. So I want to make a dress. So Thanksgiving is next week. I may not have time to make a dress before then. I don't know. But I really want to. So the fabric is ready. I also said last time I wanted to make some undershirts, and I went to find the linen to wash it in preparation for sewing, but I had already done that. I don't know how long ago. It had a little bit of dust on it because the cabinet that it was in, the door wasn't closed all the way. So it was in there long enough for dust to accumulate through the crack in the cabinet onto part of the fabric. So I do have that now, and I need to make some undershirts. Um, yeah. So this is a lightweight linen. Again, it's also from the same place I got the heavier weight linen. This is a medium weight linen. This is their lightweight linen. It's from fabricstore.com. This is their IL020 fabric, whereas the other one is the IL019 fabric. Okay, so that's it for my sewing plans, undershirts, a dress, a backpack. Okay, I'm hesitating because I need to make a bra and I don't really want to talk about my unmentionables. I don't want to mention my unmentionables in this sort of situation. I don't know why. I don't really want to talk about like my draws and stuff. So, but I am going to have to learn how to make a bra because I am dispirited by purchasing bras that I think are going to work out and then they just don't fit properly. And then I have to go through the whole process of returning things. And I don't want to have to do that, but I bought a bra recently and I need to return it. So I've been altering a bra that I currently have that is nearly good enough. And I'm going to alter it enough so it's comfortable. And then I will make a pattern from that. And then just make it my business, make it my beeswax to learn how to make a bra. I don't know if any of you have like sensory issues with your clothes. I've been plagued by sensory issues with my clothes my entire life. And so my only goal for my primary goal is to have clothes that don't make me think about them all day long. I want to get dressed. I want to enjoy what I'm wearing. And then I don't want to have to think about it at all. But when I'm wearing something that is even the tiniest bit uncomfortable, there's part of my brain that is occupied by that the entire day. And then I spend all of my quality daydreaming time fixated on trying to solve the problem. And I am tired of thinking about how to make bras. I just need to like sit down and try it instead of conceptualizing it or envisioning it in my mind. So this is me making a commitment to whoever is watching. Over the next few months, I'm going to try to learn how to make bras. That is my goal. Yes. Okay. So moving on. I do have some other knitting plans. So my knitting plans are very Christmas related. And so I will talk about those. They're like little decor things and some socks. But mostly it's like I want to make a wreath and then make little ornaments to go on the wreath. But that is going to be for December because I don't like doing holidays before other holidays. So I'll talk about my Christmas stuff later. But another thing that I want to do over the winter, so I have a knitting machine. It is a manual knitting machine. It's like a little bank of latch hooks and you move the thing back and forth manually. And it does very simple patterns. I could go in and manually manipulate them myself, but mostly I just make large sheets of stockinette. And when I say mostly I make them, I mean every 10 years or so I get out the knitting machine and I make large sheets of knitted fabric and then I wash it in the washing machine to make felt to use for other things. So in my winter shoes, I have felt insoles and they are all completely flattened out or worn through completely. And so I bought a bunch of this Peyton's brand wool. So it's a bunch of Peyton's wool. I have a lot of success felting with this. So I just bought a whole bunch. Oh, this was back when, did I buy this from Joann's? Oh my gosh, I've had this yarn for years. It might have been from Joann's. R.I.P. So I'm going to machine knit large sheets of this, several feet of it. And I usually do a crochet edge around it so that it, because, it's just stockinette, so it's going to curl in on itself. So I do a crochet edge just to stabilize it. And then that goes in the washing machine. And then I will cut out, I have a little template and I will make insoles for our winter boots. So that has to be done in between all of the fun little things that I have coming up. Yeah, I think that's it for me today. That's it from me and Merri Molly. Let me think. No, I think that is it. Okay. So thank you for spending some time with me today while I ramble about my crafts. I hope you'll join me next time. Bye for now. You are so cute.